Hi, everyone. So, I wanted to talk today about why consistency is one of the core factors that will allow you to make incredible progress in your health goals. This is like one of the top characteristics from what I see in my clients in terms of people who are able to really reach their health goals and really accomplish some remarkable healing versus the people that kind of stay a little more stuck and have a hard time really reaching their goals. So, consistency. Why is consistency so important? We are talking about chronic illness. When you have a chronic illness, what means is that you have a consistent illness, right? This is not just an acute condition. It is not just like getting a flu or getting an infection or like spraining your ankle or breaking your leg, right? Or just, falling and getting injured. Those would be more acute illnesses or injuries, right? When it's a chronic illness, it means that it is consistent. It continues, maybe has ups and downs, but pretty much continues all day, every day, through the weeks, through the months, through the years. Now, a core contributor to developing a chronic illness is exposure to chronic stress. And again, chronic stress means consistent stress, right? These are not just like, I got startled, by a mountain lion chasing me. Hopefully, we all never deal with that, but it's a good evolutionary example, right? I just got startled. Maybe there was a predator, maybe there was a thunderstorm, maybe there's a drought, and so I'm not getting enough to eat for a couple weeks. These would all be acute stressors that come and go. So when we have a chronic stress, it means it's a consistent stress. It means a stress that is pretty consistently there. So those are kind of things like living with a really angry parent or partner, like always having really high pressure, heavy deadlines at work, not making enough money consistently, having low nutrient status in the foods that you're eating, having a lot of exposure to toxins in your environment, not feeling safe in your community or in the world. These are all things that are chronic stressors. They're consistent stressors. They are there most of the time throughout the days and weeks and months. So, we can start to see the pattern here, right? Chronic illness means consistent symptoms caused by chronic stressors, meaning consistent stressors that are there almost all the time. So, what we need to heal these chronic illnesses is chronic healing in our environment or consistent healing. The nervous system starts working in patterns, right? And we build up an accumulation of damage to our bodies. When you have a chronic illness, it is because you have had a lot of things happening consistently over time that is causing damage and dysregulation to your tissues and to your bodily systems. In order to reverse that, we cannot just have an acute moment of healing. And this is what we are looking for when we are going to look for things like pills and surgery to reverse chronic conditions. That doesn't work because those are acute healing, right? Things that are for acute illnesses, acute stressors. They do not really work for chronic conditions where you need chronic healing. You need consistently new inputs of healing and support and nourishment in order to pull back the layers of damage that have been done to your tissues, to the dysregulation of your nervous system. Basically, you are changing your environment so you are no longer inputting chronic stressors, you are inputting chronic supports. So it takes time to undo the damage that ends up causing chronic illness in the long term. It is often years and years of damage you are undoing, years of damage that you were accumulating even before you got sick. So this is why consistency is so important because you are reprogramming your body out of danger and into safety on the level of the cell and the nervous system. Our body is afraid on a cellular level when we are chronically ill. Our nervous system and our tissues are just seeing threats and stress and danger over and over and over again. And so it needs reprogramming through a consistently different type of environment, an environment very different than the one that caused us to get chronically ill. So, what does this kind of consistency look like? This kind of consistency needs to pervade through all aspects of your life. So, this includes food. And frankly, some people can get away with cheat days and still heal. I don't recommend it still. So I'm not saying that you will not heal if you take cheat days on your therapeutic diet. That would be very dogmatic and extreme, and I don't like that, So, and I've seen people make remarkable progress even when they weren't 100% on their nutritional protocols. That being said, I think that consistency is super important, not just for the nutritional benefit or the ability to really reset the microbiome in a really solid way, or heal the metabolism in a really solid way, or replenish nutrients in a really solid way. I mean, that is all really important physiological things that happen when you're consistent with your nutrition. But again, your body needs to also know what to expect. And if you are being really diligent with your diet, and then one day you are eating a bunch of things that are very inflammatory and dysregulating to your blood sugar, it's going to throw your whole system out of whack into a really unexpected stressor. And when we are healing, it's really important to be consistent with limiting unnecessary stressors as much as possible. And so consistency with your diet is not just for the physiological benefit, although that is very significant, but it is also just to help your body feel safe again and know there are consistent nutrients that is not going to spike my blood sugar, that is going to give me the raw materials I need to keep repairing myself, to keep running my detoxification system, to keep giving me the essential nutrients to keep my nervous system running smoothly. The body needs to know and be able to expect that kind of consistency of nutrients coming in that it needs. So I often recommend that people actually do a pretty simple diet, and people sometimes complain about the dietary plans I give them, feeling like I'm going to get bored, it's simple, or I don't know what to eat, I feel like I'm eating the same things over and over again, and I say, good! You should feel bored! Not that you shouldn't enjoy your food. I think that if you are really nourishing yourself properly, you do really enjoy and crave these kinds of really nourishing whole foods, but it is okay to eat the same things over and over and over again when you are healing, and in fact, they may benefit you more. Having that really diligent consistency so your body knows I can expect these nutrients every day and at the same times. Erratic eating schedules are not conducive to a healing environment. So eating the same or similar foods regularly at the same times is very important. I would also say that the consistency of your sleep-wake cycle is another thing that is really essential to giving your body those consistent inputs of safety and healing. So having the same wake time and the same bedtime every day. Now, that really sucks if you have to get up early certain days and don't have to get up early other days, because I would say wake up at the same time every day, even if you don't technically have to get up that early, and go to bed at the same time every day, even if you technically could stay up later because you would technically get enough sleep. That kind of consistency is going to cue safety to the body so that it knows what to expect. It doesn't have to deal with this stressor that it wasn't expecting of like, oh wait, now I'm going to bed 3 hours later than I usually do. Keep it consistent, keep it the same, and have the same morning and bedtime routine. There are a lot of reasons why people make excuses why they can't do this, and some of those excuses are totally valid. Lives get complicated, people have responsibilities. So, I'm not trying to be unreasonable here, but try to work around that as much as you can and keep that sleep-wake cycle very consistent, because again, this is going to be another really solid input into your system that you now are in a healing environment where there is consistency and safety. Your movement and energy expenditure. This happens a lot when, and I did this too, when people are starting to actually recover a lot of the times, or they're having a good day or a good week, and they expend a lot more energy than they really have because they get excited that they feel better and they want to do all the things they used to be able to do. And I get that. Believe me, I get that. But it's so easy to overdo it and go over the edge. And even if technically your body may have had the capacity to do that, that unexpected stressor on the system can really throw your nervous system out of whack. So if you are trying to increase your activity level and increase your tolerance for exercise and movement, you have to do it extremely slowly and consistently. And while you are in the early stages of healing, it needs to be 100% consistent with the lowest capacity that you have. So take like the lowest energy capacity you have and try to stick with that, and then just up it a little bit, right? And this could be 30 seconds of, walking around the house. I mean, if we want to get to people who are, really seriously fatigued and ill, it could also be exercises that you do in bed, right, if you need to. And then you slowly up it. And so even if you're having a really good energy day, you don't do more than 30 seconds more, which you did the day before, even if you felt like you could barely get out of bed the day before and you're feeling okay the next day. You have to do it very slow and consistent because anything else is going to be an unexpected shock and stressor to your system. And so when I was reconditioning myself after I started recovering from my chronic fatigue, I literally planned my walking routes. So I was going like a quarter mile more each week. And even though my recovery happened pretty quickly, my recovery from fatigue specifically happened very quickly once everything else kind of started falling into place. And I knew I could probably go at a faster pace than that, but I was so afraid that I was going to stress my nervous system out more than I meant to and cue danger to my system. And so I kept it super slow and consistent. And so my recovery from chronic fatigue actually happened really smoothly because I kept it so consistent in terms of just upping my capacity for movement and energy expenditure just a tiny bit every week so my nervous system knew what to expect. And the other thing are your nervous system regulation practices. So these are things like vagus nerve stimulating exercises. These are things like mindset and gratitude work and correcting thinking errors and meditation practices and all that good stuff that we do to try to get our nervous system regulated. They cannot just be used when you're having a bad day. They can't just be used the days that you're particularly triggered or feeling emotionally unstable. They need to be done consistently, even on the days that you're feeling okay about life. Because it is that consistent retraining of your mindset that is going to reprogram your brain so that when you are having a bad day, you just kind of automatically go to those things. You don't have to work super hard at going to those things, and you're less likely to be triggered by things in the first place. So all of these things, when we put them together, they add up to a lifestyle where your body knows what to expect, where you're consistently cueing yourself that the world around you is safe. And that has to happen day after day, week after week, month after month, sometimes year after year, to really reverse the effects of chronic stress, which is the opposite of that. It's unpredictable, it's damaging, it's chaotic. That's what chronic stress is. And so the antidote to that is chronic healing, right? And consistency in these healing practices. So I hope that is really helpful. I know that consistency is something that a lot of people struggle with the absolute most. But I wanted to share partly why it's so important, what the really deep root effect consistency is having on your system. And I find that even people who have a hard time with executive functioning or focus or things like that, if they really prioritize their routine, it actually makes a huge difference in their symptoms. And so I know it's kind of hard when it's like you feel like the things that would improve your symptoms are the things that your symptoms are preventing you from doing. I get that. And it's really, really hard. But trying to implement one thing that you do very consistently to start with, and just have it a non-negotiable thing that you do whatever you have to do to get yourself to do every day at the same time, and then you slowly build on that until you have cultivated a healing lifestyle where your body can know, I am safe, I am supported, and I can heal. All right, I hope that was helpful.